Welcome back to Garage Matters. Now, if your headlights have these old style halogen bulbs in here, come on over here, let me show you how to swap them out to these LEDs. Now this truck is a 2025 Chevy Silverado 2500HD. Unfortunately, this is the custom model. Now the custom, even though it has the name custom, you're gonna have to do some customization on this truck, such as swapping out these halogen bulbs down here for these LEDs up here. Come on over here. Let me show you what we're rocking over here. Now I decided to go with something cheap. I think these ran me about 60 bucks. These are 60,000 lumens and the type is H11s. Now on this truck I already swapped out the low beams for LEDs, but I want to swap out the high beams down here. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and open this box and see what's all included in here. And we're just going to go ahead and cut this open. So doing the low beams a couple months ago, I didn't make a video, so I thought I'd make a video swapping out these high beams, but it should be really straightforward as far as swapping them out. Now it does come with gloves. I'm already wearing gloves. I'm not going to use these. Set these to the side, and these are the bulbs. Now there's no ballast or anything like back in the day. This is all it comes with. All you gotta do is just disconnect the harness and then plug it back in. Now as far as tools, the only tools we're gonna need is a Torx driver. We're gonna need a T15 Torx driver. So let's go ahead and get our T15 out. Now with our Torx driver in hand, let's go ahead and head over to this vehicle. Most vehicles you can go through the top side, but on this vehicle you'll need to go through this fender liner right here. It's not as easy as back in the day. Some vehicles you can just go straight down from the hood like this, access it from here. So there's not much you gotta do for some vehicles. But on this truck right here, we have to remove part of this fender liner to access the bulb assembly up here. Now we're gonna do this as simple as possible. We don't need to remove the entire fender liner. We're just gonna remove this screw right here, this one right here, and I think we might need to remove the one down here as well. And then all I'm gonna do, once I have these screws removed, I'm just gonna remove this fender liner, push it out of the way so I can access the bulb assembly up here. Now once you have these 3 screws removed right here, all we're gonna do is use our other hand and just start removing this fender liner out like this. And I don't think we're gonna have to remove anything else, but this should give us just enough room to stick our arms back in there and access the assembly. Alright, so we're just gonna move this to the side like this. And once we have this fender liner moved to the side like this, we're gonna look back here. So there's 2 coverings right here. And then we're just gonna come around here. So this bottom one is going to be for the high beams down here. And then same thing. So if you're changing out the low beams, it's gonna be the top one up here. All you gotta do is just look at it and just come back around to the front side and then up here. So we're working with the high beams. All we gotta do is just kind of wiggle this rubber covering off and it'll come right off. Okay. Alright, just like that. I'm gonna set this right here. And then in here is the assembly. Next thing we're gonna do is just stick our hand in here, rotate this counterclockwise, and then it should come right on out. All right, there we go. Now, next thing we need to do is just go ahead and disconnect it. And it should just be as simple as lifting on these tabs and then just removing it. I'm gonna see if I can do it with one hand. If not, I'll have to set this camera down. All right, here we go. Hopefully y'all can see what I'm doing, but just these tabs on the side right here, just kind of move them out and then pull this right on out. Okay, just like that. Let's go grab the new bulb and get it installed. But before we install the new bulb, let's go ahead and take a look at the old and the new one. This is the halogen bulb, and this is the new one right here. So this new one is a whole lot bigger. This one does have a tiny little fan on it, and when we get it installed, we'll turn the lights on to see how loud this fan is. Sometimes when you install these aftermarket LED bulbs, they're kind of noisy, but so far with the low beams, they're not that loud, and I really don't mind the noise. So let's go ahead and bring this back over here and just plug it up. So this is really a plug and play installation. All right, so with the new bulb in hand, we are just gonna reconnect it just like so. All right, clipped on. Now, all we're gonna do is grab hold of this bulb again, put it back inside of the housing right there, and then turn it clockwise. All right, that is good. And it's really tight here, but that's what it looks like inside. So let's go ahead and look at the front, see how it looks like in the front. And that is the new bulb. So you can tell that it's seated in there properly and it's not going anywhere. So we'll go ahead and put this fender liner back on, tack on these screws again, and then I'll hit up the other side and then I'll turn these on. Installation is pretty much reverse order. All we gotta do is just put this back on here, press it on there, and it'll go right on there. And once you got that covering piece back on, all we're gonna do is just line up this fender liner back under here like this, and then just put the screws on. All right, now with these screws reinstalled, let's go ahead and do our checks. All right, I can tell it's so much brighter now, so go ahead and take a look at that now. Got the lows and the highs on, and I definitely like the 6500 color. The halogen bulbs, they're just too warm for me, especially at night. Can't really see the road that well, so going with a 6500 bulb definitely is gonna be much brighter, and it'll be able to illuminate the road once you drive at night, so you can see whatever's in front of you. Now I'm sitting inside the truck right now, and what I'm doing is I'm just flicking these high beams on and off real quick. What I noticed when I was messing with the halogen bulbs and I was doing this, it wasn't instantaneous. There's a slight delay, and with these LED bulbs, I'm flicking it as quick as I can, but it's not doing it. I have to like slow it down just a little bit to get it to flash. On other vehicles, what I noticed is that you flick it as fast as you can, it'll flicker, but for some reason this truck just can't do it. But there is a slight improvement with these LED bulbs. Now with these lights warming up, let's go ahead and get a little closer and see if we can hear these fans kicking on. I'm not sure you guys can hear that, but there's a slight humming coming from these fans inside. It's a little bit louder now. Try the other side. Now you can definitely hear the humming coming from here. Alright, so it does look pretty good. I am happy with this install. If I wasn't filming, each side took me maybe about 10 minutes because the hardest part and the longest part was removing these fender liners partially. But once you have them uninstalled, it's relatively easy. It's plug and play installation and it doesn't look that bad. And for about 60 bucks, I am pretty happy on how this turned out. Sure looks a whole lot better than those yellow halogen bulbs. And remember, these are things that you can do in your very own garage. Make sure you join us next time on Garage Matters and hit that like and subscribe button.